ladies and gents, and welcome to the Controlled Interest Gamecast, where we talk about video games and everything happening in the industry. As always, I'm joined by Jordan. How's it going, Jordan?
What's up?
And Dominic. How's it going, Dom?
Oi!
Oi!
Dom, real quick, you know that's a greeting and not a confirmation, correct? Because
I don't care what it is. I like it.
In our Facebook chat, Jared asked if we were going at a certain time, and you said "oi."
Yeah, oi.
So you said hello.
Well, I was just using it as like a, yeah, I'm here and I heard you.
Also,
It's not really a yes or no.
Yeah,
Oi, mate.
Speaking of hearing things, thanks to John over at A Link to Our Past for the intro. We had an exchanging of some services. I made some graphics for him, and he did our intro song, so that's really cool. It includes the Xbox startup as well as the original PlayStation 1 startup, which is super cool.
It sounded so sleazy to
sound,
me.
Don't forget about the GameCube sound.
Yep. Yeah, it was
Shout
just
out.
fantastically made. It's awesome.
Exchange of services. I don't know why that made me laugh.
Sounded so bad. So we're going to get into what we've been playing this week. For me, I've been playing a lot more Spelunky as I did last week. We talked about that at a huge extent. The game's still fun. I got the second checkpoint, so I'm still trying to work towards the third checkpoint. I'm also playing Hook, which is, I was talking to Jordan before the start of the show. It's a Steam game that's a puzzle game where you have these black circles that are connected to these lines, and it's a puzzle game based on whenever you click the black circle, the line moves, like, retracts back towards the circle. So there's a lot of, like, interconnecting lines that you have to kind of retract at the right times. And if you do it wrong, obviously you fail the map and you have to restart it. It's just a cool little, like, time waster kind of game. I really like the aesthetic. It's very basic, like whites on blacks and grays with very simple geometric shapes.
Almost sounds like it could be on mobile.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't on mobile.
Yeah.
I didn't look into it too much, but it was just, I had like $1 sum in my Steam account, in my Steam wallet, and I saw this game was on sale, and I was like, this looks like a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nothing
on
crazy. On
PlayStation, you automatically have to spend $5 every time.
Oh god.
Wait,
I
what?
would love to buy. Yeah, because you have to put at least $5 in your PlayStation wallet every time you buy anything. You can't buy like themes are $2. There's $2 Vita games all the time, but yeah.
And the last game I've been playing is actually a review code we got that I was surprised because it was a game I found out late about. Usually I like to contact people like on Sunday. This game I didn't find out that was coming out until like late Monday. So I contacted Raw Fury Games, and they've published some games. And this game is called Kingdom New Lands. It's an expansion that came out on the Xbox One. The original game Kingdom has been on PC for a while now. And essentially what it is, it's kind of a hard game to describe, but it's a like a tower defense game where you build up this area. Except it's a 2D 8-bit game. So you're a guy that rides a horse, you're a king, and you have a crown. Now, the way the game works is that there's characters that come from either the left side or the right side of the screen that are enemies, and they basically, you build up walls, and if they break through your walls and get to you, they don't necessarily kill you, but they knock the crown off your head, and you can pick it back up. If they ever get a hold of the crown, the game is over. And obviously, as the game progresses, you can recruit new characters with gold that you get, and you can make them either builders who build stuff or archers that kill stuff for you, and it's all about trying to build up this kingdom, survive, use the gold you have to make a boat to get to the new land. Before, because this is called New Lands, it's about multiple areas, so it's kind of a bigger, longer game. Excuse me. The original version was this one land where you had to figure out how to end the game. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in it. So, there's different areas you can unlock throughout, because it's a 2D game, so you can either go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Like I said, on one side of that screen, a randomly generated is going to be the portal where the enemies come through. The other side is going to be the boat that you need to get to the end. And there's other stuff that can spawn. There's chests with a bunch of gold in it that you can get. There's like these statues that if you pay enough gold to, they'll protect you for a certain amount of nights. And it's a day-night cycle, so the enemies only attack at night. It's just a fun game. It's really cool. This wasn't on my radar at all, and it's a great experience. It's probably one of the best experiences I've had all year. It's not like Game of the Year or anything to me, but it is a very solid game. And I'm happy to be playing it. The achievements are named really cool. It's like on the first day I built an army, on the second day I built fire, and it's about doing certain objectives on that specific day. So the way you beat this game is by getting the boat and going to new lands, but you also can survive X amount of nights. The most nights I've survived is 20. The highest achievement is for 100 nights, so it's kind of crazy. But the game's fun. It's just a blast. It's one of those games, kind of like Spelunky, where the more you play it, the better you get at it. So you're going to die, but it's all about, okay, what choices did I make wrong? Let me play this again. It's a completely different type of game, but it still is in that same vein of you get better at it as you play more, so there's that hook of coming back to play it because you're like, oh, I'll make it to day 19 now, hopefully,
So another one that sounds like it could be on mobile, maybe.
Yeah, this game could definitely be a Vita game. I don't know if it's coming to Vita or not. I have no idea. But it definitely works well in mobile. I would love to see this as an NX game as well. This game is really cool. That's pretty much it that I've been playing. Nothing too crazy. I didn't have a chance to watch Suicide Squad this week. Hopefully I can catch it this weekend. But yeah, what about you guys? Jordan, what have you been playing and watching?
Yeah, so I mentioned last week that I was going to see Suicide Squad. My first viewing, I really liked it. Thought it was a funny, great action movie with a lot of cool music. Has its flaws, and not all the writing's really on point. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it, and saw it again later on in the week, just to make sure I wasn't crazy, and that everyone that was hating on the internet wasn't totally on point. So, yeah, I really like Suicide Squad. I probably won't go see it again while it's in theaters, but I definitely enjoyed it.
That has me excited because, like, I wouldn't say Batman vs. Superman was great, but I liked it. I was one of the few people that did. And I doubt that. I was always expecting this to be at least be better than that. So I'm excited to watch Suicide Squad. I think.
This one, it seems a little more divisive than Batman vs. Superman was. That BVS seemed like most people adamantly hated it, whereas this is like you either hate it or you just think it was good.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say what you just said, Jordan, and then a lot of people say it's a flaming dumpster pile or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not really I feel like if Suicide Squad didn't come out after Batman vs. Superman, and Batman vs. Superman wasn't even a thing that was connected to it, I feel like people would like Suicide Squad a lot better.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Besides that, I've been really just focusing on my playtime on Bloodborne. Played a bunch of Bloodborne this week, and got very close to finally just completing the game and really doing everything in the game, but didn't quite get there because of some really fucking difficult bosses that I don't even want to talk about, really. I won't even get into all that.
Which one gave you a hard time?
Well, I finished the main campaign, and these are... I'm just doing, like, the last 2 Chalice dungeons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're, like... They're the Cleric Beast is... It's, like, a different version. It's just the Cleric Beast with a different name. And then Albrightus, the Daughter of the Cosmos. This is like the 3rd time I've fought both of those bosses now, so they just keep getting harder.
I got maybe halfway through the Chalice dungeons.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm like over leveled and it's still hard as shit, and I'm enjoying it, but I am like kind of banging my head up against this brick wall now. One of the reasons was I decided to do one of the dungeons with like these extra modifiers turned on, and one of them dropped my health bar to like 1/3 of what it is.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Dude, I got through the entire... There's 3 levels to each Chalice dungeon, so there's 3 bosses. And I got through all 3 of the first levels. Both of the first 2 bosses, I was good to go. And I just cannot beat Albrightus because she's just like... She's got like several attacks that just kill me at once. So I just have to redo the ritual and redo the Chalice dungeon without those 2 modifiers on, and I'll be fine. But
awesome.
It's really annoying that I've had to like go all the way through it again. But I also finished out the Old Hunters DLC. So once I finish up these 2 Chalice dungeons and then beat the final boss of the main campaign so that it sends me into New Game Plus, I'll be totally done. And I can kind of shrug the weight of Bloodborne off of my shoulders for a while.
Awesome.
So,
anything else?
That's about it. That's about it, man. Like I said, Suicide Squad, played a bunch of Bloodborne, and watched a bunch of Naruto this week. So.
Oh well, Dom, what have you been playing and watching?
So I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet. I'm gonna go see it on Saturday. So no word on that yet. But I picked up Dead Nation on the Vita for $8. Like $8. I was like, oh sure. I didn't even really think about it. It's a fun little game. It's kind of like Dead Rising as a twin stick shooter, I guess.
Top down, yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. I'm also balls deep into Assassin's Creed Syndicate now.
Sweet.
I've been saying that I like it previously, and now I'm completely headfirst into it right now. I'm absolutely addicted to unlocking, each of the gang areas or whatever when you conquer a territory.
Yeah.
I just got absolutely addicted to just conquering every single territory. I just couldn't stop. And then Ubisoft just is great with how they make you want to get those collectibles and sink those towers and everything. Like they just, something about their formula is just like appeals to the addictive nature in people. So
yeah,
I'm almost done with that game at this point. I considered going for the platinum until I looked through the trophy list and couldn't even. I'm like, no, I'm not going to play this game for the next 4 years of my life to do this.
I'm assuming there's a bunch of multiplayer ones too, right? That's always my issue with Assassin's Creed.
There is no multiplayer.
No, there's
they only had co-op in Unity. They took it out for this one.
Yeah.
I got this platinum. Really, all it is get the collectibles, and you have to get the side objectives on the main storyline missions.
Okay. So I remember for I think it was Assassin's Creed 3 was maybe the last one they did it where there was maybe
competitive.
10 trophies that you would have to do in competitive multiplayer, and I was like, yeah.
That reminds
me. This is actually
a
pretty easy platinum if you continue to get further. If your balls continue to dip further down into Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
No, it's certainly easy, just time consuming, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine, but yeah. But that reminds me, I was looking through the Dead Nation trophies, and there's a handful of them that require online multiplayer too. And I tried to join a match and nothing. I mean, of course, who the hell is playing this game besides me? But
I'll never be able to get that. I saw you sent me an invite, and once again, if your balls sink well into Dead Nation, then I could help you get some of those online trophies.
Because that platinum looked really easy to get. I mean, there weren't that many trophies, and they're pretty straightforward.
It's just a hard game is the only hard part about the platinum.
It is starting to get tough. I'm 3-4 levels in right now, and it's starting to get But otherwise, the last thing I started playing, and a bit of a story behind this one, was Wolf Among Us. It came bundled with the Batman Telltale pre-order, so I got that for free. I started playing. Well, actually, first let me start with this. Have you guys ever not slept for an extremely long period of time to the point where you're hallucinating?
Once when I was 13 and I slept over at a friend's house.
What period of time are you describing, Dom? 72 hours without sleep?
Oh no, not necessarily. I mean, maybe
just
that's what
a
it
day,
takes. But
like a 24 hour.
I've not slept. I've skipped a night of sleep and just gone to sleep, at a regular time the next night.
No, it's
definitely not to the point of hallucinations. Is all I'm saying.
It's not necessarily hours. I don't know. For me, I've skipped a night of sleep and been fine the whole next day. It's just some times where some other factors are affecting you and you're just that tired. Anyway, so that was the kind of the condition I was under when I was playing this game. And I also had no idea what this game was about in the slightest going in. I didn't know, what the premise was. I just know that there's this guy who might be a wolf or something. I don't know.
So you didn't even know about Fables?
Exactly. I didn't even know what the heck was going on because I got this game for free. I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. People seem to like it. So in my state of near dementia, I'm just trying to stay awake to play this game, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? I can't remember if that was real or... I mean, I walk into my apartment and there's a talking pig on my chair, and I'm like, what? And then he lights up a cigarette, the pig does. It was just this really weird, trippy moment, experience where I'm like... And then I couldn't remember if that would happen. Because it seemed real normal at first. Oh yeah, of course there's a pig on my chair. Mm-hmm. I was just so out of it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But then a few minutes later, I'm looking back thinking, was there a talking pig? Was that frog having a domestic violence problem? What the heck is going on in this play? I mean, it's really interesting. I just got to play it in a more sober state of mind, I guess. So that's all that, yeah.
So it's based on, I haven't read the comic, but the comic's called Fables. And it's where, kind of like a Shrek type deal, where Fable characters are in the real world and they're existing among us. So I guess Wolf Among Us comes from that.
Yeah. So
and the smoking pigs and smoking frogs and such.
Yeah. So you were talking about Dead Nation and how it's kind of like a top-down, like twin sticks, Dead Rising, right? The interesting thing about that is, by way of GameSpot, Chris Pereira writes, 1080p 60 frames per second Dead Rising 1 and 2 remastered, pricing and release dates confirmed. Capcom today shared new details about the upcoming remastered versions. Dead Rising 2, and Dead Rising 2 Off the Record will be available for $20 each in a triple pack. And for a slightly discounted price of $59.49, which is like a 50-cent discount, I guess. Which is kind of weird. The 3 games come with all DLC released for them and improved graphics. And this is the first time that a Dead Rising 1 is coming to a PlayStation platform.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Because of that, I am very excited for this.
The fact that you can buy them individually for $20 a piece is really good, because it's like, well, maybe some people who own PlayStations played Dead Rising 2 and Off the Record, but they probably didn't play the first one, so they're like, well, I don't want to pay $60 for, one out of the 3 games that I haven't played. So it's cool that they're selling them individually too. The release date is September 27th as well, which is a decent date. So
take notes, Activision, Call of Duty 4.
Yeah. Actually, sorry.
So,
they come out digitally on September 13th, and they come out physically on September 27th. So the digital versions come out 2 weeks earlier. So.
And you said $20?
$20 for each individual one, yes.
So, okay, I am super excited about this, guys, because, Dead Rising 1 was an Xbox 360 exclusive, which I had a 360, I just didn't play it. And then when 2 came around, it came to PS3, but I heard all this bad stuff about it where it had like a game timer over the entire campaign. So then by the time Off the Record came out and they had taken the timer out, I was like already kind of like screw Dead Rising or whatever. And so I'm gonna buy 1 and 2 Off the Record, but not 2.
2's not very good. I played Dead Rising 2. I didn't get a chance to play Off the Record, but like 1's a really cool experience to have. People are saying like, will it hold up? Will it not hold up? I still think it's a gaming experience to experience.
And everyone's talking about like zombie fatigue, but I don't know. I don't play very many zombie games, and so I'm really excited. Want to have a zombie game on my PS4, and I don't really want to just do COD zombies.
Yeah.
So
dude, Dying Light.
I think this is it. I mean, Dying Light, but I really like the whole first-person parkour thing. I know it's supposed to be great in that game. Oh,
I loved it.
But I want a third-person action-adventure zombie game, kind of really like Dead Rising, where you're kind of goofing off and like there's the threat of the zombies, but you're also having a good time with crazy weapons and gear and stuff. Kind of like a Sunset Overdrive, which is not zombies but mutated humans.
Yeah, it's kind of like the argument of like, why play Overwatch over Call of Duty? I see Dead Rising as the Overwatch, whereas Dying Light is more of the Call of Duty, where it's like a more serious tone, whereas Dead Rising is a lot more playful.
Sure.
So we have.
I'm super excited. Can't wait.
We have a couple of quick stories here for Bethesda. Not too much to say. Just going to get through them real quick. This one comes by way of IGN. Jonathan Dornbush. He writes, Bethesda absolutely looking into making Nintendo NX games. For me, this is kind of like like it's not really a headline. It seems to me like, of course they're probably absolutely looking into it. Of course, they're business. They look into any platform they can publish to, right? Anyways, he writes, though Bethesda Softworks isn't ready to make a definitive choice one way or another, the company's vice president Pete Hines says Bethesda is absolutely looking into the possibility of putting its games on Nintendo's next console. So if anything, this is good to hear. I mean, it's not confirmation. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure Bethesda looked into putting their games on the Wii U before they realized that ship was sinking real quick. So that story kind of seems like a non-story to me, but I thought it was something to talk about because, once again, it's another third party at least talking about NX, which is good. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it may be a non-story. I think you're kind of right there, but at the same time, the fact that they're having to consider it in the first place, as opposed to, like, when would you ever believe Bethesda going, yeah, we'll consider, a few years ago, we'll consider putting our games on an Xbox One or PS4. Like, that was just already done, no questions asked.
Yeah.
but it sucks that they have to even
that it's
talk
a consideration.
About
it's not a definitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
My guess is they're referring to Fallout Shelter and Elder Scrolls Legends.
Elder Scrolls Legends
Ouch.
would be cool to play mobilely. Hopefully, that's other experiences like maybe the Elder Scrolls remaster of Skyrim. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. At least they're talking about it. It's weird that all these third parties are talking about Nintendo and they're not talking about the NX.
So last time Wii U got like 2-year-old remasters with Mass Effect and Batman Arkham City. This time the NX gets like a 6-year-old remaster with Skyrim.
Right. So the second story here about Bethesda comes by way of GameSpot. Eddie over at GameSpot. We probably talk about one of his stories a week. He writes, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming, but not soon. Given the massive critical and commercial success of 2011's Elder Scrolls Skyrim, a sequel seems like a sure thing, while a sixth game in fantasy series is not yet in active development. Bethesda marketing executive Pete Hines has come forward to say the studio will make the game in due time. So essentially they're saying it's not in active development, but it's on the way. I think this has to do with their two new IPs. A while back we heard that they're working on 2 new projects. Oh, not 2 new IPs, sorry, but they're working on 2 new projects. One of them is a new IP. One of them is something else, which we think might be a middle-of-the-road Fallout, like a New Vegas, or it could be anything, really. And, you know, this is... It's interesting. Some people are saying... I believe, Dom, you tweeted out that we could probably see, like, 2022, which when you originally tweeted that, I was like, that seems way off. But then I realized, well, that's 6 years away, and if it's not in active development, that kind of makes sense. So at first I was like, 2022, that's a long time from now. I was like, oh, it's 6 years.
Plus, it might not be in active development for 2 more years from now.
Yep, exactly.
Do I even need to bring up Final Fantasy and The Last Guardian? I mean...
Yeah,
well, there could be games that start production this year that we don't play until 2020.
Yeah, and the good thing is Bethesda holds that close to the vest, and they don't say when it's in active development.
Exactly.
Instead of saying, oh, we're working on it, and then we're working on it, and then we're working on it.
Think about when we're going to see that new BioWare EP, like the one with the T-shirt that nobody saw at the conference, or like the next Dragon Age. Like those are going to be 2022. You know.
Yep. I don't know, because we've heard about remember we had that report of BioWare having multiple teams, so they had new people working on Andromeda, and their original Mass Effect team was working on the new IP. So you never know.
This does make perfect sense for Bethesda, though, with them releasing that Skyrim remaster this fall.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And then
they don't want to hurt those sales.
Obviously, they don't have to worry about... Like, they publish so many great games now that they don't have to worry about having their main headline studio releasing games so often, because now they have all this other bankroll, you know? They have the Doom now. They have the Wolfenstein, Dishonored, and Prey. So they definitely have a catalog to bring in revenue that they don't have to worry about that. Speaking of projects, this story comes away of Jason Gallagher over at Game Rant. And he writes, Rockstar Games will reveal 2 new projects, says Take-Two. Take-Two reports its most recent financial earnings, but it's what the publisher said about Rockstar Games that has gotten the attention of Red Dead Redemption fans. Publisher Take-Two reported its financial results for its first fiscal quarter, yada 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 yada. Reports that Take-Two executives briefly touched on the GTA and Red Dead developer by stating that Rockstar Games also is hard at work on some exciting future projects that will be revealed soon. Now, before anyone gets ahead of themselves, it's worth noting that this isn't the first time we've heard this from Take-Two. They said this earlier this year, obviously, and we've been waiting 3 months and we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, what is soon to you guys?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about time, dude. Like, I know a lot of people are really content with the content in GTA Online, but I think the rest of us are kind of like, either we played through GTA and we finished it, which I didn't, but, you know, the rest of us are waiting on Red Dead or Bully sequel or this other stuff. It's like, I just really hope they haven't been like, oh, let's just throw the brunt of our development strength at GTA Online microtransactions and just little like nickel and dime stuff. I hope that they're actually working on a big game.
I think they are, because if you look at it, it's weird that this is like the first GTA not to have a substantial single-player DLC. And yes, it's the first one to have a GTA Online, which is unlike anything they've had in their games before. But still, like, they always are known for having this, like, substantial single-player DLC that people love. Like, Ballad of Gay Tony is regarded as one of the best pieces of DLC, period. So I think that it seems like it's easier to update the multiplayer facets of that game rather than release a substantial single-player. So I do think that lends towards you thinking that they are working on another project, you know? So... yeah. Hopefully. The last story here is really quick. This comes by way of Vice Gaming, which is on the rise. They actually recently got Patrick Klepek to come over from Kotaku, so that's crazy. Actually, hold on, I skipped a story. Let me go back. That's the second to the last story. This is comes by way of Eurogamer, and this is by Tom over at Eurogamer. It looks like the Xbox, the white Xbox One S, which is weird that they write white because all of them are white.
Why's it gotta be white?
Yeah, maybe because there is the Gears of War edition, but still,
what do you mean, you people?
Yeah.
It says it's sold out for good, which is kind of a misleading title because it's not sold out for good. But I just found this interesting. He writes, "Missed out on the white 2TB Xbox One S. You may have some serious issues on your hands. Microsoft launches shiny new Xbox One redesign in a sleek white 2TB model, but stock was limited and the console is now completely sold out at most retailers. We've now heard from our friends at Eurogamer that Microsoft has no plans to replenish stock of the 2TB model, which launched with an RRP of $349. On Amazon, there are still white 2TB Xbox One S consoles available, but only from third-party sellers, and only for significantly more than the console standard RRP. So it's essentially saying, like, it's going to be hard to get these direct. It's a very misleading title, but it is interesting that they did sell out at that rapid of a pace. Obviously, there's going to be the Gears of War edition, and this is only for the 2TB model. So it's kind of a misleading story, because it's kind of making it sound like the Xbox One S is unavailable, but it's only for the 2TB, the big boy. And with that, I mean, with external hard drives nowadays, you can just buy the lower end one and buy an external for pretty cheap and kind of make up the difference of the price you'd pay anyways for the 2TB model.
Who wants an external hard drive sitting on their console?
I have it. I have an external. And yeah, it sucks because it doesn't look nice, but I'd rather buy an external hard drive that has a bunch of memory than have to buy another console that quickly or buy a new version of it, I
will say this slim model has been more popular than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it had a lot going for it. I think the fact that it looks nicer, it's smaller. I think the stand is really, as dumb as that sounds, it's really appealing to people because being able to stack consoles vertically is huge for people. I think it was a right timing for them. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
Definitely.
Speaking of right timing for consoles coming out, great segue, Jared. Over at Vice, like I was saying, this is a dual report by Patrick Klepek, who, like I said earlier, recently came from Kotaku over to Vice, and Austin Walker, who originally released the initial Neo, the leak back at Giant Bomb before coming over to Vice. Report: Sony to reveal upgraded PlayStation 4 in September. Sony will reveal the first details on an upgraded PlayStation 4 at a September 7th event in New York. French gaming website GameBlog reported today. Vice Gaming can confirm that it's heard the same information. The upgraded PS4, which Patrick's first reported on back on in March for Kotaku, has the internal codename Neo. Sony's VR project was codenamed Morpheus, both in reference to the sci-fi movie The Matrix. It's unclear what it will be called when the hardware is formally released, though some developers have nicknamed it PlayStation 4.5, which a lot of us have been talking about it as that. And then just goes into prior to E3, they talked about Andy House saying that they weren't going to talk about it in Financial Times and they were going to showcase it at E3. And then the second story came out. This was when this story initially broke, we didn't know the PlayStation event was happening. It was just that there was going to be something in September. The second story over at The Verge was by Nick Stat that Sony sets PlayStation event for September 7th. Obviously, they updated the previous story to let you know when that event was happening. And this basically broke that they're having an event. The PlayStation, what is it called? Let me see if I can find it here. I think it's just called the PlayStation event, right?
Who knows?
And sorry about that. I can't remember. But anyways, it's taking place September 7th, PlayStation Theater, New York City at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. People are expecting them to unveil the Neo. Yeah, this is out of nowhere, I guess. It's not surprising that they're going to have an event for this, right? But it is surprising that we didn't hear about the event and then it popped up randomly. Yeah, what are your guys' we're getting into the obviously what's going to be at this event later, but is this surprising that this event came out of nowhere? It seems like a very Nintendo move, personally, anyways.
I think they didn't want to, get it out there too early just because they want hype going at the event. They want to keep hype going after the event. And if we had known about the event for a long time, that would have taken out some of the steam, probably.
Yeah, true. What do you think, Dom, about this event just popping up randomly that we're going to be having this?
To me, this confirms that this thing really is coming out in October this year. Just because why else have a specific event at this weird time? Why not wait till PSX if you're going to release it next year or something. You know what I mean? I feel like this is...
That's very true, Dom. Wow. Why wouldn't you just blow PSX out of the water?
There has to be...
With
this
Neo.
has to be some reason. This has to be tied to PSVR in some way with its release in October.
Absolutely.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, so I thought these were interesting. Obviously, Patrick Klepek and Austin Walker get some of the craziest scoops. They have some of the greatest contacts, it seems, at Sony, because they get some of the most detailed information. It's crazy. But actually, for your topic, we're going to hop out of the news here. Dom, you wanted to talk about the PlayStation event, right?
Jared, do you mind real quick if I mention the Mr. Robot
thing? Go ahead.
So yeah, it was basically just that Dom, you were even talking about Telltale earlier. They tweeted out these 2 videos from E Corp, which is like Evil Corp and Mr. Robot. I don't think either of you guys watched the show.
No, heard great things. Haven't seen it yet though.
Mr. Robot. Yeah, so Evil Corp is like kind of like, you know, just an evil corporation in Mr. Robot, and there's really no reason for Telltale to be tweeting this stuff out. It doesn't make any sense unless they're teasing a Mr. Robot Telltale game, which, you know, I love Walking Dead. That's one of my favorite TV shows. Game of Thrones is as well. But I'd say that Mr. Robot is my favorite TV show that's airing currently, and so if they did a Telltale series, I would be just overly excited.
This, to me, it's weird because I think it's definitely, I don't think, as popular as anything else they've done. But I think that's fine because I think they've earned enough bank with these deals with DC and Marvel and Skybound and all these companies where they've earned a lot of revenue that they can take on these smaller things that people want to play. There's definitely an audience for people who want to play a Mr. Robot Telltale game, but it's not going to bring in the crazy numbers that their other ones do. And I think that's cool that...
I think it's like probably the same as Wolf Among Us. Like
that's a good point, So I'm glad that they're willing to do this stuff because they could easily just say, no, we need to work on our big brands, our big projects, and this is cool because like there are, like I said, Mr. Robot fans that want to see this, so I'm excited.
Also, they may be just being really savvy because I think Mr. Robot's only in the middle of its 2nd season. I think it will be a very big brand in the years to come.
Yeah, so they're kind of hopping on that board beforehand. Yeah, that's cool.